favorite summer meals. It's refreshing, it's light. I think you can make it Whole30. It's just absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's just about 5 p.m. right now. So welcome everyone. Melissa Edwards, I can see that you're on. Welcome, glad to have you here. So our ingredients today are very, very simple. And if you'd like to follow along and write down on the recipe is actually featured on the front page of our website at bombcook.com. And you can just print that out and it's updated and everything, so it should be good to go. But I've got my recipe here. I don't really need it because I've made this so many times and I've eaten it even more times than I've actually prepared it. My sister is a master of this recipe and serves it for guests all the time, but I have also taken her lead on that and done the same. So the first thing I'm going to start with is green beans, and I want to show you a little bit you can get many different types of green beans. You can get French green beans, you can get just the regular cuts, you can get frozen, you can get fresh. These are fresh and these are petite gourmet green beans. And what we're going to do, because we want them to come up with a really bright, vibrant green color, so what we're going to do is we're going to put them in the water, and the water is boiling right here on the side. You need about 2 pounds of red skin potatoes, 1 pound of green beans for four servings for 4 people. And this is enough in this recipe that you can actually serve it the next day, and I'm going to show you how to serve the leftovers as well. These are pretty thin green beans, so we're not going to cook them for a long time, but we're going to cook them long enough so they're still a little bit crunchy, but they're cooked all the way through. So we're just boiling them in a little bit of water, and of course we want to have salt inside that water. I've already boiled our red skins. So the red skins, I just get these small red skins, and you could do them in half, but I really think that they look much better prepared on the plate when you do them in quarters, and you can cook them exactly like that. So I've already cooked ours here. I boiled them for about anywhere from 12 to 14 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, depending on how many red skins you have. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to rinse them in cold water and allow them to cool down, because this recipe calls for these ingredients to be served cold or hot. So I'm just going to cool these down for a minute. Run them under real cold water. You'll want to do that because first off, you can get this recipe ready even ahead of time, and you can eat the salmon on this cold or warm. I like the vegetables cool and the salmon warm. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm just going to set these aside here for now. So we've got that done. We've got our green beans cooking here. And you can see as they cook, it's amazing how much greener they become. I'm going to show you what the difference is in that. Let's say we've done our 3 to 4 minutes, which is pretty close. And what we're going to do is we're going to, I have some already prepared in here, but I'm going to put them in our little bowl here. We're going to take the green beans, and immediately as the green beans start to cook, they do become much greener. But the best way to get your green beans really green is to blanch them. And I did actually forget to bring my water, but I do have the ice prepared and all set here. So I have a little baggie prepared of ice. So what I'm going to do is, they just came out of the boiling water. The best thing to do is actually put the ice, I put the ice right over them. And then if you don't want to let them sit in cool water, you just run cool water over it and allow them to get really cool. It's going to take anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes to cool them down really well. Or you could have your water prepared and dump them in the ice water very quickly. But what I have found, I have well water, so my water is really cold. But what I have found is the water cools down so quickly when you put the green beans in. I like to dump the ice right on top of them and then put very, very cold water from the tap running over them. So I'm just going to move this out of our way. So this recipe, honestly, it's a fabulous recipe that takes pretty much no time at all. All of our cooking for the things on the stovetop are now done. I'll put my little my connector back together here. Okay. And then now what we're going to do is look at the difference of this green bean. You can see it's pale green. And look at this one that is blanched. It's a significant difference. And this is why you want to blanch green beans. The other reason is green beans will continue to cook, as do all vegetables. When they're hot, they remain hot until they cool on their own. And you'll find that the way they tasted when they were just finished and the way they taste once they're served, they're a little bit mushier and there's no crunch left. So you want to decide how you want your green beans and just maintain that integrity as you go through this entire recipe. But as I mentioned, I do buy the Petite Gourmets. I love these. They're fabulous. And then the red skins, you can do white potatoes or red skins. Probably Idahos are a little bit heavy, but you want a potato that you can leave the skin on and that is really light. So the next thing we're going to do is prepare the salmon. Here's our salmon. And I think it's really important for everyone to remember or to understand that salmon is not salmon, is not salmon, is not salmon. So you want to know several things: where your salmon comes from, whether it's wild caught or farm raised. There's a lot of discussion and an incredible amount of really good information. You can get Atlantic salmon, you can get king salmon, you can get coho, you can get so many different types of salmon. Some are extremely expensive and some are very cheap, and the very cheap ones generally are raised maybe the way you would want them raised. So I think that if you're going to buy salmon, know what salmon you're willing to pay for and what you're willing to eat. Because once you educate yourself like that, you'll always and forever purchase the type of salmon that is the best salmon that you accept, that you want for you. So this salmon is just, simply cut. And the salmon is Alaskan salmon. And what I'm going to do is make the dressing, because we're going to bake the salmon with the dressing. So we have 2/3 cups of olive oil, or you can use our half olive oil and half of lemon oil, which is fabulous as well. And then we also have 2 tablespoons of mustard. I'm just going to put this right inside here. And this is a Dijon, a French Dijon mustard. Actually, Dijon is a fairly boring mustard. I hope to bring to you in the future some really fabulous mustards from France within the next several months. But today we're using the Dijon. That's what I had in my refrigerator. I'm going to put a little bit of our citrus salt. Actually, I think I'm going to put the salt right on top of our salmon. This is really a finishing salt, but I have never in my life tasted a better salt for fish. It's a flaky salt, and it just brings out the really great flavor of the salmon. And that is citrus, which is really nice and very unique as well. We're also going to put in 2 tablespoons of honey. We've got our French lavender honey. Now you may think that lavender honey, putting lavender with salmon, sounds a little strange, but do know that the bees ate from the lavender fields in Provence, and it's a very subtle, very light hint of lavender, but really, really beautiful. Just a beautiful marriage of flavor. And then we're also we've got our honey, we've got our mustard. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of our traditional balsamic. And I know my daughter Natalie just told me the other day, I don't know, Natalie, if you're here, but she just told me the other day that she could practically drink this. It's so good. And you use it up pretty quick. I'm thinking about maybe selling this with a refillable bottle that is much larger than the original. It would be really great for everyone. And then we're just going to take our mini whisk and we're going to whisk this up. You could also mix this in a emulsifier, or you could use the Eco Chop, which emulsifies in about 6 to 8, 10 pulls, which is really, really great as well. You can see this is mixing up. I'm going to mix from the bottom and come back up to the top because I don't want to spill this all over. This is really, really fabulous. The other thing we're going to put in is we have 2 tablespoons of dill. 2 teaspoons. And I minced some or chopped some extra dill that I'm going to sprinkle on top of the fish once it is complete. Dill is what makes this recipe so incredibly refreshing and absolutely amazing. So you can see we've got this great recipe here, and it's all ready to put over the salmon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my salmon on my flexi flat, and what's cool is you can just bake right on this flexi flat with no problem. Being that it has the edge, any extra liquid that you have there will come right, will not go anywhere because of course it has a wide enough edge. So the recipe calls for servings enough for 4 people. Generally, one person is going to eat anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces of salmon. These I weighed, and they are anywhere from 7.2 to 8 full ounces, each one of the salmons that I prepared. You could make them, you could actually cut them in half even, depending on how big of a dinner you want to create. So the next thing I'm going to do, now that I have everything mixed up here together, is I'm going to take my pastry brush, and first I'm going to pour some of this onto the salmon. Much better if I do it with my right hand, my left. And then I'm going to brush this along the top and along the sides of the salmon. And I'm going to save the rest of it for when the salmon is cooked and ready to serve. So it's like a salad dressing, really, or a marinade. So you can see the dill is coming through there too. Just looks really great. So I'm going to pop this in the oven for just a quick 15 minutes. And of course for you, I have certainly prepared this so that we have everything all ready. I have already prepared one of the meals for you. This meal does not take long at all. It takes about 20 minutes, 25 minutes total to get everything set up and get it ready to go. But I'd like to show you what happens next. This is your meal. This is your beautiful salmon meal. This is a meal for 2. But I think it's even a little bit much. I wouldn't eat that much salmon at one time. So what I've done is, first I will finish plating this. So I would serve it on the table like this with 2 plates for 2 servings. And then I'm going to take our dressing. This is the one I made before you came on. When you serve this, you're going to serve, I like to serve it with capers. And you're going to serve it with the dressing. Even though you bake the salmon with this, it's going to taste fabulous. So you're going to serve this. You can never have enough dressing on this dish. I can tell you that right now. It's so, so good. And the first time I ate it, I thought, why are the potatoes cold? Why are the green beans cold? Well, then you realize how great this dressing is. So it's kind of like a cool dinner along with the hot salmon. It's fabulous. Then I'm going to take some capers. And I'm going to sprinkle capers. You could also sprinkle olives across the top. This is like the step that you do that just ups your game a little, which is really nice. Then I'm going to take some, and wipe my hand, I like to take some of the fresh dill. And I'm also going to sprinkle the dill. Dill goes well on the green beans, it goes perfect on the salmon, and it also tastes great with the potatoes. So you want to make sure that you cut your dill up so it's just a hint of that dill, just looks really refreshing and very, very inviting. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lemon, a half of a lemon actually, and I'm going to squeeze it across the top. And we're all set. It's that simple. So you could see in about 1 hour's time, you could make this entire dinner, and it probably would be even less than 1 hour's time. But I know someone's going to be real happy tonight with this beautiful meal. The next thing I want to show you is how you can actually take this same meal, take any of the leftovers that you have. If you're going to eat a small piece of salmon, what you want to do is cut one long, maybe an 8 ounce piece in half, and then serve it for you and your spouse. Or if you have a larger family, you make 4 pieces. You can cut them in half and save a couple for the following day. So for tomorrow's lunch, I'm sure that I will be having this. This is a bed of spinach, and I have a container garden on my deck just of lettuce. So I've got this beautiful lettuce that I'm just gonna put around the plate here. And I don't know if any of you have container gardens. We also have a beautiful vegetable garden in the back. And what a beautiful thing it is to have a vegetable garden with tomatoes and zucchini and eggplant. And this time of year, I just get so excited about eating and cooking, because I know that everything is right at our fingertips. And today I just thought, oh, I'm gonna mix up that salad. I might as well go out and see how much lettuce I have. And the lettuce is great because it comes back again and again. So I'm just putting this lettuce, and you can really tell, like a fresh lettuce, you need to keep it watered. This one's no good. Keep it watered really well, and you'll find that your lettuce will just continue to grow and grow and grow. I like to keep these 2 on the top, 1 in the middle, 1 on the side. So you can see we have this beautiful display here. So what I'm going to do, if I were to take 2 pieces of the salmon, you can see it's nice and pink inside, and the skin underneath, it comes right off, and actually you can peel it off before you even serve it. I'm going to set the salmon right on top. And see how that skin comes right off. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one, and I'm just going to break it up a little bit, put it across the top, and then I made some extra dressing. This is the dressing I made with you, actually, the first one I had made. And what I'm going to do, instead of putting the lemon on the salad, I'm going to squeeze this half a lemon into the dressing. I would like my dressing to be a little more liquefied. So as I do this, you can see that this is coming together really nicely. So I'm going to do again, as I did before, and I'm going to sprinkle the dressing across. Save a little dressing because somebody might ask for more. You always want to make sure that you're prepared. Wipe my hands a little bit. Then I'm going to take my capers again, and I'm going to sprinkle my capers on top of this salad. And do know that your salmon will be good the next day. I want to go far 2 days, 3 days. It's a little bit too long, but it will really stay really well for you. Then I'm going to take some dill, and I'm going to sprinkle dill there. And then we cannot forget that we also have these beautiful green beans. And what I'm going to do is put a little stack of them on each side of the plate. And then I'm going to grab up the leftover potatoes that we have, and we're going to put them on the corners. I know many of you have eaten the salad with me, right? Really, really good. So nice to share with all of you as well. So you can see we have day 1 and day 2. And we have a beautiful, absolutely beautiful salad. Why don't we put a little bit of the dressing on the green beans? And that's it. You can see that we could say, bon appetit. It's a fabulous day in my kitchen today. It smells so lovely, and the smell of summer is just so apparent with all of the fresh ingredients and the fresh dill. It's just so refreshing when you eat it. It just feels really good. It's not overfilling, it's just beautiful, and you could serve it over a bed of lettuce anytime that you make it, or you could serve it as a dinner entree. So I want to thank everyone for coming on and enjoying this beautiful meal with me today, and I certainly hope that you go to our website and download the recipe so you too can work at becoming a better chef in your kitchen and delighting people with the taste of your food every single day. So thanks everyone for joining in. Have a great night.